Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Marr. That noise you're hearing is my ventilator. And welcome to Page Turners They Were Not, my Star Wars podcast. Today we're going to talk about Order 66. Yes indeed. We are going to talk about the culmination of the age-old plan that the Sith had to destroy the Jedi Knights. After the Sith destroyed each other 1,000 years before the events of the movies, Darth Bane initiated the Rule of Two, with the idea that the Sith would eventually reach the point where they would destroy the Jedi Knights and conquer the galaxy again. Order 66 was the ultimate culmination of that plan. Palpatine's plan to finish Darth Bane's legacy and destroy the Jedi once and for all. Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy, as Palpatine said. Now, why should we talk about this right now? Well, with the Clone Wars Season 7 ending, and with the current story arc occurring at the same time as Revenge of the Sith, it is likely that we will see Order 66 take place. Now, these last two episodes will tell us what happens to Ahsoka when Order 66 happens. We know that Ahsoka escaped the massacre, but I don't think we know the particulars. Also, we know that Captain Rex and his fellow clones, Wolf and Gregor, managed to escape committing Order 66. And why do we know this? Well, let me get into it. In Season 6 of the Clone Wars, during a battle, Clone Trooper Tup attacked and killed one of the Jedi. Something went wrong with Clone Trooper Tup during the battle, and he began to repeat the phrase, "Good soldiers follow orders." And then he killed a Jedi Master. It is discovered that, or rather, over the course of that story arc, it is discovered that each of the clones has an organic biochip planted in their heads, which are what caused them to commit Order 66. What we learned from this is that when Order 66 occurs in Revenge of the Sith, the clones don't have a choice. These inhibitor chips, or control chips, cause them to obey the orders without question. Now, the Kaminoans, the cloners involved, claimed that the control chips were designed to make the clones obedient and docile. And keep them following orders. And that was the excuse given by the Kaminoans, who were in on the conspiracy. So when Order 66 happens, the clones don't have a choice, because secretly, these inhibitor chips, as they're called by the Kaminoans, are designed so that when Order 66 is given, the clones will destroy the Jedi. So yeah, that was the whole purpose behind those chips. Now the reason I bring it up is this. What happened is the inhibitor chip in Clone Trooper Tup's head went off prematurely. And he attacked and killed a Jedi Master. Clone Trooper Fives, who is a friend of Tup, discovered the conspiracy and tried to make it known to his fellow clones, but none of them believed him. Now, what we discovered in Star Wars Rebels is that eventually Captain Rex, the most prominent clone trooper in the Clone Wars series, believed Fives enough to have his chip removed completely. He had it removed before Order 66 occurred. And the same went for Clone Trooper Wolf and Clone Trooper Gregor. So these last two episodes of the Clone Wars series hopefully will explain the details of when and where Rex, Gregor, and Wolf had their chips removed, and also explain how Ahsoka, who is with the clones on Mandalore, how she managed to escape the massacre. In Order 66, I watched that sequence again just recently in Revenge of the Sith, and it was a very emotional moment in the film to see all this wanton destruction and to know that Palpatine was reveling in it. So it's interesting to see how this plan went into place. Now, apparently, according to further Star Wars canon, when the Jedi Master Sith put in the order for the Kaminoans to begin creating clones, Sith had been fine with the idea of the control chips. The idea of making the clones less how shall I put it? Making the clones more docile, but Sith was unaware of Order 66 when he placed this order. But apparently, Sith is the one who gave the control chip to the Kaminoans. But Sith was being duped. By Sidious and Count Dooku. And so they had Scythidius eliminated. So he inadvertently caused the destruction of the Jedi. But he was an unwitting tool in the plans of the Sith. So it'd be interesting to see how the Order 66 is covered in these last 2 episodes of the Clone Wars. So we're going to take a short break. When I come back, I'm going to talk about my feelings about Order 66. Hello there, this is Brennan Marr, host of Page Turners They Were Not, a Star Wars podcast. And I'm here to tell you about Anchor. Anchor is the best way to make a podcast. Why is that? Well, first off, it's free. Yes, you heard me right. Anchor is free. Anchor has all the tools you need to make a podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you on various platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can make money from your podcast. And get this, with no minimum listenership. That means you can make money even if no one listens to your podcast. That, of course, is not ideal, as Anchor will allow you to spread your podcast, bring in more viewers, and you can make more money because of it. Everything you need to make a podcast is in one place on Anchor. If you're interested, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you, and may the Force be with you. Okay, I'm back. All right, let's talk about Order 66. Now, when we discovered in the original film that the Empire hunted down and destroyed the Jedi, I suppose this isn't exactly what I was thinking. Of course, at that time, we all assumed that the clones were the bad guys in the war, fighting against the Republic. It was then later discovered in Episode 2 that the clones were actually fighting on the side of the Republic. And Order 66 made sense. I remember, though, seeing in the in Revenge of the Sith, it seemed that it was not made clear whether or not the clones were being forced to do it or whether they were choosing to do it. And I think this might reveal a fault with the films, in the sense that it took the Clone Wars animated series to explain it, which I think in general it's not good to leave the explanations to other sources. Now, I don't mean that we need to know everything in the movies. What I mean is that when it's a crucial piece of information, we need to know it. So, admittedly, we didn't need to know why the clones did it in Revenge of the Sith. I guess we just assumed they were following orders from the Chancellor or Emperor. Now, one major problem I think that exists in the prequel trilogy is, in Revenge of the Sith, we see that when Palpatine announces that the Jedi are going to be hunted down and eliminated, Everybody in the Senate applauds that idea. What was not made clear in the movies was the politicians bearing the Jedi any ill will. We never saw that. We never saw any real negativity toward the Jedi Order by either the senators or the populace. Yet again, in the Clone Wars, there are some episodes showing protesters against the war, which I think is meant to tell us that the Clone War was becoming unpopular among the populace, and that's why they were willing to become complicit in the murder of the Jedi, feeling that the Jedi were going out and starting this war. In fact, yet again, in the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi's, I don't want to say love interest, but a woman that he has very strong feelings for, Duchess Satine of Mandalore, criticizes the Jedi for getting involved in the war when that's not their job. So I think these pieces are meant to show us what was not shown in the film, but even then, even with the Clone Wars, it doesn't fully explain why the public was so eager and willing to turn against the Jedi. And that is a piece of information that I think should have been in the movies. Should not have been left to the Clone Wars to try to explain. I think you should have seen more discontent in the movies, thus explaining why everyone was so willing to be like, yeah, let's kill the Jedi. Yeah, let the clones kill the Jedi. That's great. Yet again, I'm not really going to complain too much about what isn't in the movie. What is in the movie, I think, works on its own terms, but it would have been nice to see more of the populace, why they wanted the Jedi eliminated. Other than in the movie, it would seem to suggest that, well, the Jedi tried to kill Palpatine, so yeah, they were bad. I mean, okay, that's a fairly... If Palpatine could be like, hey, the Jedi were trying to take over the Republic. They were trying to take the power away from elected officials like myself. I guess I could see why the senators and why the populace might go, oh, wait a minute. These Jedi were trying to overthrow the democratic process. So I guess I could see that, but it would have been nice to make it a little clearer. But, yet again, minor complaints. I think the Revenge of the Sith is pretty good. And I think that, overall, I've come to enjoy the prequels more. Order 66, with the clones being programmed to turn on the Jedi, I think is interesting. Not exactly how I imagined that it would turn out, but I'm not going to complain too much. I mean, we're always imagining how things could have been different. And every one of us nutty fans like myself, sweaty fans, as the late John Schnepp would call us, every one of us, I'm sure, has our own idea in our heads of, here's how I would have done the prequels. Some of us have even written our own screenplays. So what we get was interesting. I think that the Clone Wars, I really enjoyed how it expanded on the idea. I thought that story arc was quite good. Little Manchurian Candidate kind of thing going on. And I think that overall, all the pieces put together, the Clone Wars series, the movies, I think it works for me. But there are some things that I would like to have been fleshed out a little bit more. But regardless, it's a very tragic thing. And the way that it's done in Revenge of the Sith, the Order 66 montage, very the Godfather kind of montage thing, I think it works. I think it does. And I think the emotion is there. At least for me. I know that may not be true for a lot of fans. But I think I appreciate it. So, we shall see how Order 66 is portrayed in these last 2 episodes of Star Wars The Clone Wars. My name is Brendan Marr, and that noise you hear is my ventilator. And thank you for tuning in to Page Turners They Were Not, my Star Wars podcast. May the Force be with you.